My sisters only showed up when Dad was dying to claim his money, so I made sure they got exactly what they deserved. I didn't know how to feel when my sisters suddenly showed up at Dad's hospital room after 5 years of complete silence. There he was, hooked up to machines fighting stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and suddenly Gina and Ava care so much. The same sisters who couldn't be bothered to call on his birthday or Christmas, the same ones who missed Mom's funeral because one had a work thing and the other was traveling in Europe. Yeah, right. Dad looked so small in that hospital bed. The cancer took everything from him except his mind, which stayed razor sharp until the end. That's important to remember for later. I'd been the one driving him to chemo for 8 months. I was the one who moved back home to take care of him. I was the one emptying his bedpan and holding his hand through the night terrors. Not them, never them. When Gina waltzed in with her fake tears, I nearly lost it. Ava followed behind, trying to look devastated but checking her phone every 30 seconds. They hugged Dad like he was made of glass and told him how much they loved him, how much they missed him, how they wished they'd known sooner how bad things were. That night at home, I found Gina going through Dad's office, just casually rifling through his filing cabinet. When I asked what the hell she was doing, she said she was looking for insurance papers to help out, but I saw her lingering on his will. I'm not stupid. Ava was worse in a different way. She kept talking to Dad about all his antiques, how valuable they were, how she'd take care of them after he was gone, like he was already dead, asking if he still had Grandma's jewelry collection and Mom's silver set. Vultures, both of them. Lana, Dad's hospice nurse, pulled me aside on day 3 of their visit. She'd seen this before, families swooping in at the end for the money. She told me to watch them carefully, that dying people are vulnerable to manipulation. Things got really weird when Nelson, Dad's lawyer, came by for a scheduled visit. Suddenly my sisters were all over him, asking questions about the estate, the house, the investments. They'd never cared about any of this before. Nelson kept looking at me, confused. He'd never even met them before that day. One night I heard them whispering in the guest room about the will, about how unfair it would be if I got everything just because I was playing nurse. I wanted to kick the door down and scream at them that I'd been the one holding Dad's head while he vomited from chemo. I'd been the one sleeping in a chair beside his bed for months, but I just stood there, crying silently, listening to them plot. 3 weeks before Dad died, Gina suggested he should update his will, just to make sure everything was clear. Ava nodded along, saying it would give him peace. I nearly lost it then, but Dad surprised me. He agreed. He asked for Nelson to come by and make some changes. My sisters were practically salivating. They started being extra nice to me, like we were suddenly best friends, asking if I needed breaks, offering to sit with Dad. Nelson came with the paperwork. Dad asked to speak to him alone. My sisters protested, but Dad insisted. They waited outside, smug and expectant, while I brought Dad and Nelson water and then left them to talk. An hour later, Nelson left with the new will, nodding to me on his way out. My sisters were bouncing with excitement but trying not to show it. Dad died 2 weeks later. He went peacefully, holding my hand. Gina and Ava were there too, making sure to cry loudly when the time came, making sure the nurses saw their grief, making sure everyone knew what devoted daughters they were. The funeral was a small affair. Dad didn't have many friends left. Most had died or moved away, but the few who came kept asking me who Gina and Ava were. They'd never seen them before. Nelson read the will 3 days after the funeral. We gathered in his office. My sisters could barely contain themselves. They kept exchanging glances, barely able to hide their smiles. Nelson cleared his throat and began reading. Standard stuff at first. Then he got to the meat of it. Dad had divided his estate into 3 equal shares, 1 for each daughter. My sisters' faces lit up. They'd won, or so they thought. Then Nelson continued reading. There were conditions. My share would be distributed immediately, but Gina and Ava's shares would be held in trust. They would receive monthly payments of $500 each for the next 10 years. If they missed visiting Dad's grave even once a month during those 10 years, their shares would be donated to cancer research. All of it. My sisters exploded. They started shouting about contesting the will, about how Dad wasn't in his right mind. Nelson calmly explained that Dad had been evaluated by 2 separate doctors before signing the new will. He was mentally sound. The will would stand. Then Nelson handed me an envelope. A letter from Dad to be opened after the will reading. I waited until I was alone in my car to read it. My darling daughter, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I want you to know I saw everything. I saw who was there and who wasn't. I saw who loved me and who loved what I could give them. Your sister showed their true colors long ago, but these last weeks confirmed what I already knew. They don't deserve a windfall. They deserve a lesson. $500 a month for 10 years of monthly graveside visits. 10 years of remembering the father they forgot. 10 years to think about what family really means. You are my family. You are my heart. I love you, Dad.